My gaming history. I feel like this is a topic I have to address. I feel like that I'm really not validated as a gamer until I tell you guys how I actually got into gaming. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through the history of gaming consoles and then going on to PC gaming and whatnot. You guys gonna hear about that. So pretty much my history of gaming. Here we go. So the first console I remember playing on is the Super NES, I believe it was. And I'm not sure. I have a hard time with this memory because for some reason I remember a Sega Genesis, but I know it was a Super NES because we played Street Fighter on it. Or maybe we had both. I can't. It's kind of hard to remember, but it's like whatever. Maybe we had both of them. But now there was this game that we played, and I don't know the name of it. See, that's what makes this a good memory, because you just know that it was a game that you guys were playing, and you remember some of the stuff that the characters were saying. So I'm thinking it was a Batman game, because this guy, he was wearing like a suit, and I think he had like two faces or something like that. I don't know. I think he had like a skeleton for a head. I really don't know. But to be honest, the thing I do remember is him. After you lost to him, it would usually be like two or three of them, but usually it was two of them. And after you lost to him, he'd say him and the other guy that was pretty much like a clone of him. They'd say, "Forget about it," and they'd say it over and over again. And they're just like they'll move their hands in like a certain way, just like it would gesture no. Like, forget about it, like a New Yorker or something like that. They'd say it over and over and over again. That's the reason why I remember that game so well, because it would go like in a rhythm. Like, you'd be like, forget about it, 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 forget about it. And I think that was really, really awesome. So that's why I remember that game so very much as the first game that I played. As to memory, because maybe I played some other games when I was a little bit younger. I don't know. I can't remember my exact age when I played that game, but I know that that's the first game that comes to memory, and it was pretty awesome, and I enjoyed it. And to this day, I still don't know the name of the game. And for some reason, I think it's a Batman game. I've tried searching it, but I can't find anything on it. So it's like, oh man, like I don't know. I just don't know. But after that, I remember, let's skip ahead. I remember this one memory. There's this one, I don't know the console name, or I don't know the game that he was playing. And it was my oldest brother. He was playing some kind of racing game. And I'm really not sure what game he was playing. I don't know what console he was playing. All I know is it was a racing game. And all I know is that the thing that, since I was a little kid, whenever he turned a corner, my head would move the way that the car was turning. Like I'd follow it with my head because I was just a little kid, that's a good memory also. And the whole family was gathered around while we were playing. We had some cousins over, had some friends over. Really, really good time. So that's the second memory I remember. And the third one, and this one's kind of funny. This one is kind of funny. It's fast forward a couple years. My brother got a GameCube. So I'm thinking it's around 2005, 2006, around that year, because that's when the GameCube came out. He had 007 Nightfire, and that's what really introduced me into first-person shooters, because it was just me, my older brother, and my younger brother. We just having a good time on the Nintendo GameCube, and pretty much all I can remember is us passing up the joystick, and that's it. After we die, and we play with bots, and the one thing that really stuck with me why I remember him having that GameCube is because he had I guess, I don't know, his games got scratched up really easily, and it wasn't working when I put it in the tray. So I tried wiping it off, and I guess I must have wiped it off a little bit too hard. So when I was wiping it, it actually broke. Like, I'm not even joking. It broke, it snapped in half, and I was like, oh. And then, me being so young, I was like, oh, I gotta hide this. I put it back in the case and threw it under the couch, under the cushion of the couch, not like under the couch. I threw it on the cushion of the couch. And he was like, all right, let's pop in that 007. I was like, uh-oh, he's gonna find out that I broke it. But I was thinking, like, the initial plan was for me to be like, him to find it and it'd be broken, and he'd be like, "Oh man, what happened to my game?" Like maybe somebody sat on the couch too hard and snapped it inside of its case or something like that. That was the initial plan. But me being like, "Oh, I know exactly where it is." Me being like, "Oh man, for some reason I just grabbed the game from under the cushion and I opened it up, and he was like, and he just looked at me as I opened up the case, and it was all broken and whatnot. And I kind of looked like, "Oh, I hope he doesn't see this." I don't know what I was trying to do, but I was just pretty much like, I was trying to like find it and then make it seem like, "Oh man, look, I found it. It's all broken and whatnot." I guess that's what I was trying to do. But I found it, and I was like, what I was trying to do is I was gonna go like, "Oh, I found it," but I didn't do that. I was kind of like, I know I broke it, so I was kind of like, "Oh man," I just kind of looked out of the corner of my eye, and he looked, and he was like, "Oh my god, you broke my fucking game!" Oh, and he tried to beat the living shit out of me. He tried to beat the life out of me. Oh my god, it was not funny at that moment, but when I look back on it, it's kind of funny. Like, man, like I ran upstairs and like hid behind my mom. He's just trying to grab for me, trying to beat me down. I was like, it was an accident. I was cleaning it off and it broke. And he was like, "Man, you broke my game, man." He was so pissed. Yeah, he tried to beat me up that day. It's really funny when I look back on it. But let's fast forward a couple years, and what you're gonna notice about my gaming history is that it's not me that's having the console. It's me. It's usually my older brother or my younger brother. This is gonna come as a shock, but I was not into gaming. Even though we had all those good times, I was the one that was going outside and having a good time. Enjoying the sun, always outside, never inside. And I still do that to this day. I still go outside and I still enjoy the weather. I don't really play as much as other people do, and I'm not really going trapped inside. At one point I was, but I'm gonna get to that. Okay, so let's fast forward a couple more years, and to the point where my younger brother, and like I said, I'm not into gaming. I do play some games, but I'm not into them. Like into them. Like, oh man, I gotta play this all day. Okay, so we're fast forward a couple years, and I have not me, my brother. He has, I think it was a PlayStation 1, and I'm not sure what year that came out. He had a PlayStation 1. He got one of those, and he played Tony Hawk Pro Skater. And he was always trading games, so I watched him play that. Usually I'm the one sitting back watching, because I would always wonder why he was so good at the game. Like, he'd do all these impossible tricks and specials, and you know how Tony Hawk Pro Skater was. You do as many tricks as you can to get as many points as you can. It was really awesome. And he would always do really, really awesome. He had another controller, and I played with him. And we'd versus each other. We'd play like tag and tag the territory or whatever it was called. Like, if you played Tony Hawk Pro Skater, they'd have you be red and he'd be blue, and all you have to do is skate up a ramp to change it to your color. If it was red and you were blue, you go up the red ramp and it'll change to blue. Okay, so now let's fast forward a little bit more. I remember him having the original Xbox. He had one of those, and he played a game called Riddick. I'm actually watching Pitch Black right now. That's kind of funny. He played a game called Riddick, and he pretty much beat the game over and over and over again on different difficulties. He didn't really get too many games for the Xbox, the original Xbox, so he pretty much gave it away and traded it for a different system. And what you might notice is